started. We've got quite a lot to get through. As you can see, what we're working on today is professional development around teaching personal and social responsibility model. Since we have not too many people here, how many of you have got a background or know around TPSR? Got a background? Nothing at all? Okay, so I thought we would start just with a little overview, a very quick one. So if you do know what we're talking about, please just work with us. Okay? The model's been around for many years, and some of you will know that Don Hallison is the... Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed? Don Hallison is the originator, and he's been involved with the model for about 40 years, I think. About 40 years. And it's interesting that all of us here today who are working with TPSR have been influenced by Don in some way. They're students, or he's visited, like myself, he came to New Zealand and influenced me, and also our own country. So we owe acknowledgement to him at the first, before we even start. The model seems to be used in a variety of places. It's been used in schools, it's been used in after-school community clubs, it's been used in with kids with disability, and so a lot to do with youth development as well. Okay, so it's a model that seems to be spreading a little bit, and today we're going to see 4 really good examples of different situations. The context we're working with will illustrate the fact that we can work with different contexts and different audiences. And as you go through the presentation, you will notice quite a difference among them. Can't read my own work. Excuse me a second, I'll just put my glasses on. So the examples that we're working on today, part of the overall co-up, or the idea behind it, is to look at the fact that it's a way of helping ensure the fidelity to the model. And that is one of the issues that has come up, is when does TPSR morph into something else? And so part of what we'll be looking at today is to ensure that model stays the same. That there is fidelity to the model, that it's not what some people call a toxic mutation, where it goes so far from the original, even though the name is there, that it doesn't really resemble TPSR. So just quickly to have a look at the model itself. So there's a few underpinning beliefs. We're not going to go into lots of details, but the first two is that there's a strong belief in TPSR that it is around positive youth development. Okay? And it's not a remedial program that's used to fix kids, but to help youth reach their potential. And it's interesting, I was interviewed on the radio not long ago in New Zealand, and the guy said to me, so this program must really fix the behaviour of bad kids. And that's the first thing, that's the first thought that came to his mind. So it's not really about fixing kids, it's about developing them to their full potential. And it's based on this belief that really the sport or physical activity contexts are a really good hook to get kids involved. Okay, that they are, and that in order to get successful, you need to be explicit. So just putting kids into programs without any sort of explicit intention of development is not going to work. So those are 2 of the other beliefs. There's 4 themes that underpin TPSR. The first is around positive and respectful relationships among the leaders and the students in the group. There's an obvious integration, so that this goes really about being explicit, that if you want kids to learn to be respectful, then you teach in a way that allows them to be respectful. Okay? If you want kids to develop self-directed learning, then you have to teach in a way that encourages them to be able to do self-directed learning, etc. That transfer, that what we do in these groups is transferred out of their lives. So it's not just centred in the gymnasium, but an absolute theme is that what they learn there will be applicable outside of the gym, and that we empower students. Okay, and that's most of my work is in schools, and that's sometimes a problem where teachers find it difficult to empower students. 5 goals or levels: respect, effort, self-directed learning, care, and transfer. And a couple of speakers will be really building those, will expand on those. there's a sort of daily format that's recommended or encouraged, but it's not a recipe, it's not down, it has to be followed each time. Basically, the first part is to get a relationship built, and that's built at the start of the lesson, but continues throughout. An awareness talk, where you refocus what the activity on, the activity you're doing, and on the goals of the model. The lesson plan, and that's taught in such a way that the kids are allowed to get the opportunity to achieve the model, the goals. And at the end, there's a group meeting where the group discusses what's happened in relationship to the goals of the model, personal social responsibility, and then they're given an opportunity to reflect on their own behaviour, how they behaved at that time, how they've interacted. And sometimes that's a good opportunity to bring in transfer. How have you shown respect outside of the classroom, since classroom, etc. Okay, so there's a structure there, there's some themes there, there's some goals there, but it's also a fluid problem as well. Okay. Oops. Okay, so first speaker is David Walsh from San Francisco, and